All right, let's talk about something that so many of us feel, but maybe don't have a name for. It's this tendency to see the same patterns playing out in our relationships, sometimes way before anyone else does. It can feel really isolating, for sure. But what if it's also one of your biggest strengths? Does this sound familiar to you? That weird sense of déjà vu, where you notice a tiny shift in tone or a certain sequence of events starts to happen, and you just get this feeling in your gut that you've been here before, even if it's with a totally new person.
If that really resonates with you, well, there's a name for it. You're not just being anxious. You're not just overthinking things. You might just be what we call a pattern spotter. And it's basically this intuitive knack for seeing the emotional scripts that are running beneath the surface of our connections.
So what does that actually mean? Well, think of yourself as a kind of psychological cartographer. See, while other people are just on the journey, you're subconsciously drawing a map of the whole landscape. You see the familiar hills of that amazing beginning phase, the winding rivers where conflict always seems to pop up, and yeah, maybe even the cliffs where things tend to fall off. You see the terrain because you've traveled roads like this before. Okay, so let's start with the hard part, right? Because before we can really embrace this as a gift, we have to be honest about how often it just feels like a huge weight. This foresight, it doesn't always feel like a superpower. A lot of the time, it feels more like a curse. Man, this quote just nails the feeling, doesn't it? It perfectly captures how lonely it can be. You're trying so hard to just enjoy this beautiful day with someone, but out of the corner of your eye, you can see the storm clouds gathering on the horizon. And it's almost impossible to warn someone about a storm. They can't even see it. And these struggles, they all kind of feed into each other. That feeling of just waiting for the other shoe to drop, it makes it so hard to just be present and enjoy what's happening right now. And that can make you feel so alone because your partner might just see you as being negative. And then there's that last one, preemptive grief. That quiet, heavy ache of mourning a connection that, right now, is actually still here. Okay, this right here, this is the pivot point. This is where we change how we look at all of this. What if this ability to see the map wasn't just to predict a dead end? What if it was actually meant to help you steer? What if it's not a crystal ball showing you a future that's set in stone, but a compass, pointing you toward a healthier path?
So this brings us to the really good part, reframing this whole thing. Because inside every single one of those struggles, there is the seed of a really powerful gift. By just shifting our perspective a little bit, we can start to see this trait not as something that causes anxiety, but as a source of really deep, powerful insight.
And this just lays it out so perfectly. It shows you the two sides of the same coin. What feels like overthinking is actually your deep intuition just processing tons and tons of information. That fear of repetition, well, that's your opportunity for growth, a chance to finally choose a different way. The pain of preemptive grief comes from a huge capacity for deep empathy. And that anxiety, that's the raw energy of protective foresight. It's all in how you look at it. And this, right here, is the key. This whole thing, it's not about predicting the future. It's about changing it. It's a tool that gives you the chance to say, hey, I think I see a familiar path up ahead that might not lead somewhere great. What if we tried to build a new one together? So how do we actually do that? How do we go from just being a passive observer of our own life to being an active co-creator in our relationships? It's all about finding that sweet spot, that balance between seeing the map and actually enjoying the walk. Navigating with your map really just comes down to 3 little shifts. First, just acknowledge it's there. Your intuition is real. It's not a flaw, it's just part of you. Second, when you talk about it, share the map without blame. So instead of, you're doing that thing my ex always did, it's more like, hey, I'm noticing there's a bit of distance and it's making me feel a little scared. See the difference? And finally, and this is the most important part, invite your partner to look at the map with you. It's not a weapon to prove you're right, it's an invitation to figure things out together. So really, that's what it all comes down to. Being a pattern spotter doesn't mean you're doomed to repeat the past over and over. It means you've been given a pretty incredible gift, a map of the terrain. And now the choice is yours. Are you going to use that map just to predict where the road ends? Or are you going to use it to navigate a better, more connected way forward, together?